Okay, welcome to our panel at Rapyd Summit in Lisbon. I would like to invite to the stage Aurel, Albrecht, CEO of Lano, Ritesh, VP of Fintech Viber, and Philipp Berger, CTO of Luca. Come on. We can try. Let's do that. Good idea. Switch things up. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for agreeing to do this panel with us. So I'm on stage with our leaders of the most innovative companies, as we said, and today we are talking about your businesses, the challenges you faced getting to where you are today and what you do. But first, I would like the audience to know you a little bit more personally and professionally on how you got to where you are today. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I can start. Hello, my name is Philipp. I'm actually the CTO of the Luca app, and I started being in IT like 8 years ago with my best friend and my co-founder Patrick, who is the CEO now of the Luca app. And we initially had like a software company which just built like contractual work for the federal mint. So we built actually a Dropbox-like secure cloud storage. And then with the beginning of the Corona crisis in 2020, we actually started the contact tracing with the Luca app. So it was initially a contact tracing app which was used in restaurants and on different other places to actually leave your contact data there, that in case of an incident, so a Corona outbreach there, you can be contacted by the government and can then be actually advised what to do afterwards. And with the end of the Corona crisis and the end of the contact tracing, we actually did a quite heavy pivot there. So we pivoted from a contact tracing only app to actually a platform app with a goal to actually have the consumer app in the foreground. So meaning that we actually like the consumers and the everyday experiences they did, as in Corona times before, use Luca as an interface to interact with restaurants, with hospitality services, and so on. So with the first step, we actually engaged with Rapyd, and were able to build in 4 months, I think, the payment platform on top of it. So now, as a consumer, you can use QR code payments in restaurants in Germany, in Berlin specifically, and actually pay the restaurant for a meal, for your drinks, and so on.
Amazing. Interesting pivot. We'll speak about it later on more. Ritesh.
I'm Ritesh. I'm VP of Fintech at Viber. And short note about my journey, I spent many years in banking, big banks, then went to tech company, and I joined Viber 3.5 years ago. And a year and a half ago, we started looking at building payment solutions within Viber, and I started the team to pick out what use cases we should have, and we partnered with Rapyd, and recently this summer we launched in Germany and Greece. And the current use case is you can pay your friends, your contacts, your family members within Viber is the messaging app. So within the messaging app world, you can pay money within 3 clicks, as easy as like sending a picture or a gift or something.
Thank you.
Perfect. I'm Aurel, one of the founders of Lano and the CEO here of the company. Before starting Lano, I was working in tech for over a decade now, so been in startups really from conceptual stage up to companies that were going public through IPO, so really seeing companies at every stage of growth. Also was working in banking, so investment banking, focused on tech companies. And the idea of Lano came up at the end of 2017 already, when my co-founder and I started looking a lot at the remote work market, because he was building a lot of distributed teams, tech teams in especially Eastern Europe and other countries. And we, on the one hand side, realized that it was a fast-growing market already before the pandemic, and on the other hand side, that there are no tools in place to manage this workforce effectively. So this opportunity excited us so much that we took it right away and incorporated the company officially in 2018. Built a product, took up the first pilot customers, and about a year later we officially launched a platform. And what we identified throughout this journey is remote work is huge. I mean, the pandemic has shown that remote work works, but that there's a much bigger opportunity in the global payroll space itself. So payroll meaning really companies that are, on the one hand side, either at the beginning of their global expansion journey or that are already multinational, of bringing all their payroll data together. So from a company, we see us at the intersection of HR tech and fintech, because I mean, payroll is sitting between the HRS systems of the world, where you gather all things employee data, you have your financial management systems, which take care of all things financial data, and payroll is sitting in between. And given this positioning, we partnered with Rapyd back in 2019 already, so in the very early journey of building payment or bringing payment capabilities to companies in order to pay their global workforce more effectively, more cost effective, but also much faster. So that's it.
Thank you. Okay, so as the theme here, if you have seen all the messaging and everything, is building bold. So let's talk about building bold. When our founders started building Rapyd, everyone told them it's too complicated, it can't be done. I'm sure you've heard this one before. What bold ideas motivate you to build your company's solution? Who would like to start?
Okay, now
Continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think building bold is a perfect statement, but also the term that Eric used in the beginning of resilience. So I think similar like what Rapyd is building with the claim of building the world's largest payment network, we could very easily translate that to our use case of saying we're building the world's largest payroll network. So when we started the company and we said, okay, remote work is a huge trend and it's a big topic in its own, we wanted to be more bold. And I think by really becoming this platform which really becomes the platform for all things payroll data, this was kind of the vision that Marcus and I had pretty much from the beginning onwards, and where we realized we can't do it on our own. So we are heavily working and reliable on working closely with partners like Rapyd.
Yeah, so actually our vision helps your vision to become a reality, so it correlates with our customer's vision, which is great to hear. Anyone else on this topic?
Yeah, essentially also resilience is like a very huge topic for Luca, as we actually started by digitalizing first processes in restaurants, which are the contact tracing processes. Then we start building things around it, like importing your vaccination certificate and so stuff. And then it was like a little bit immediate that we also included like more digitalizing services, like a digital menu, a menu link you can choose in the restaurant, see the menu, choose your items. And from this, we're actually becoming the bold idea of being this consumer platform for interacting between consumers and businesses. So for interacting not only for the contact tracing part, so for the whole journey of the consumer in the restaurant. And therefore, we actually did this pivot to payment, to the QR code payment, because we already had a QR code there for the menu, so we could simply transfer it to payment. But this was one of the major steps where we can say, okay, it's always important to have this broader vision to actually digitalize the whole market for restaurants, hospitality, and especially, and not only like focus on this very small part and stay there and stick there and not thinking about other ways to proceed.
So increasing the vision, basically.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for Viber, so for those of you who don't know, Viber is a messaging app, started 12 years ago, over 1 billion Android downloads, so have a lot of users. And the journey moved to 5 or 6 years ago, we added user communities, channels, so that was the content vertical. And 2 years ago, we started thinking what's next, and we wanted to provide users ability to simply do what they do in their daily lives, which is consume goods, make payments. And so the bold vision there was we wanted to become super app in the markets where Viber has strong market position, and to enable this, we had to define how will we achieve this this journey, because you can, super app is a big bucket, you can go in many directions, and we wanted a global solution, so we did want to find the right partner and not build it ourselves, because it was a faster time to market, and learning by putting it in front of the customer rather than waiting longer and then learning. So that's where Rapyd, we partner, and we took this like a big step to eventually, first step towards the vision of making it a super app.
Yeah, so super app is basically a big word now, as you said, and all of us wants to become a super app. Any comments on the super app and the process of becoming a super app from your side?
Yeah, actually, like a super app is, in my opinion, like an app which actually touches multiple areas of your everyday life. So not just messaging, but also messaging and payment, not just like the restaurant experience, but also like your travel experience or the linkage to partners, for example, like Uber or something, to actually have like a really big part of your everyday life consumed via this app. So this is for me a super app. And therefore, actually, like every one of us is currently trying to actually build such kind of app, and I think there are also quite good opportunities to partner there.
Good, thank you. So let's speak about a little bit about business challenges that you faced and what stood in your way to making your goals from idea to reality. Any like things you overcome, challenges in the market, in the company, or? Yes. Well.
So, I mean, we were bold, but I think one of the key learnings that we took from the early journey that we are on was that do things step by step. Yeah. So I think building a multi-product company. Building a product company first is already something challenging, but building a multi-product company is even more challenging. I mean, if you get it right, it's super powerful. But I think this was one of the key learnings that we took in terms of kind of also aligning the whole team and bringing the team together towards what is the overall vision, where are we heading towards. And I think here, key learnings also in terms of the partnership with Rapyd, where we were quite excited and try to roll out as many things as quick and as fast as possible. I think key learning here or takeaway was really doing things step by step. Be ambitious, but be also patient.
For us, the journey was, Viber already had products and teams, and so to start something completely from scratch and new, we created a kind of like a separate mini business unit within the company. So otherwise, there was a risk of always deprioritization because something else is a bit more important, a bit more urgent. So that was a big decision for the company to actually dedicate maybe a smaller business unit completely towards this project. And then there were a lot of learnings, just running experiments very quickly with partners in different countries to understand what would users like to do. So we have something called a chatbot, and we very quickly built a payment accepting solution within the chatbot, and we launched like 40 partnerships just very quickly to learn what do users like to do within the context of messaging app. And this started giving us a bit more confidence on, for example, people could pay in some countries for their parking tickets or buy train tickets or pay utility bills. And so we started seeing that actually if it's contextual and built correctly, people would like to do these things. So that's when we wanted to expand it, build a bit more native and a seamless solution. And the ambition was always to scale it from few countries to global. But there was also about focus. If you would have gone for all the countries, all the use cases, it's something like would have taken us, I don't know, maybe double the time, triple the time. So trying to find what should be the initial use case and the countries we should start with, learn from it, and then expand from there. So those were kind of like the key maybe steps or learnings that we did to get here.
Yeah. Actually, one key learning is Germany is like a little bit complicated market, also regulation-wise, especially privacy.
Very strict, right? And
Yeah.
regulations, I know. work
Very
with
strict,
that.
especially if you have like lots of data, for example, from 40 million users we had before. Then you have like lots of authorities which like to know what exactly are you doing, what are the security measures and so on. But apart from that, especially for the payment, actually our main learning was to stay laser focused, to be a hyper-local, interact with the restaurants one-on-one. So the restaurants are our primary merchants now, and we really grow street by street in Berlin currently. So nevertheless, in 10 weeks we generated like 5 million in transaction volume. It's still a big amount on it, but we try to scale slowly by region, then city, and then maybe the next country. But first focus is always like hyper-local with the specific restaurants, interacting with them, user research, everything.
Super interesting. So you answered my next question about payment challenges. So we spoke about this a little bit. So from that and from all we heard, I'm sure that you have some great ideas that ended up being a waste of time or a total bust, like Alex's presentation about the start of Rapyd. Any interesting stories about that happened to you?
Yeah, I can start. So we started, the payments journey within Viber started like 6 years ago. So in 2016, we worked with Western Union to allow like international remittance. And we realized that the user journey was basically, you are in the app, you get pushed out on some kind of like a mobile web page, and then there's like a long form and login, and we were seeing a huge drop-off in just like the
Due
user
to the
conversion.
experience, the user experience.
The user experience was not very seamless or like very tight. So I wouldn't call it like complete waste of time, because we learned from every experiment we did over the years. So we ran that for a couple of years with 5-6 countries. Then we opened a wallet partnership in Russia with like a big partner there. And we learned the KYC was controlled by the partner, and it was very high friction. We didn't have any input on the KYC journey. And so we were again like losing a lot of users would start, but then we would not really get the account opens or the completion of KYC stage. So we try to incorporate these learnings into the current version, where the user journey now is completely native. It's a native mobile app, so it's like it seems seamless. We work with Rapyd to actually create a 2-tier KYC system or process, where you have a light touch KYC allows you to experience the product. If you want to do more things, you do the high touch KYC. So we had 5-6 years of like these experiments and learnings that we've tried to build into our current solution. So I wouldn't call it complete waste, but it was still time we spent like learning about, because fintech was not our expertise. So markets, regulation, what do users think, what do users expect, was all a learning journey for us.
Good, from everything we learned.
Yeah, for us, I think key learning or somehow how we adapted our strategy was, in the beginning, we started having a dual focus. Dual focus meaning targeting on the one hand side businesses and trying to onboard businesses, they onboard the employees, but on the other hand side also onboarding, let's say, remote employees to the platform, offering them a product, and they pushing the products to the clients. And we realized that, I mean, at the stage where we were at that point, we have to focus on one way, yeah? And we decided to stop on targeting the end clients or the consumers, but really focusing on the businesses as the entry point. Same here, I'm sure it wasn't a waste of time in that sense, because a lot of the things we've built here for the end users, the consumers, or the employees, so to say, of the businesses are still, we could recycle them, and I think there's a huge potential monetization here moving forward. but this was one of the key learnings or things that where we made a clear cut of saying, okay, we will focus primarily on the B2B entry point instead of the B2B2C dual focus.
One of our key learnings was that essentially what Eric said in the keynote before, that engineers always tend to build everything on their own. So when we started like payment, we just thought, okay, it could not be so complicated. And then this whole Rapyd hole opened. And then we joined with Rapyd to actually say, okay, we need a strong partner there to actually support us there. And we always tend in our development processes to have this kind of thinking. For example, okay, let's go the next step to ordering. Let's go the next step to reservations. Could not be that complicated. And there's actually, it's always a hard decision when you actually try to find partners, who you partner with, because you often have to also partner with competitors essentially in the market, which also tend to be like the next super app. And then you have to find, okay, what is a good way of cooperation? And that was the main learning there, that you don't like steal each other's customers, that you have a clear market segment, and you can work together in peace.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think there are some good takeaways from your experience. Okay, so next topic is building the future. We spoke about change a little bit. Sometimes it's necessary due to business conditions, and sometimes you do it because an opportunity arises, which we spoke a little bit about the opportunities and your thinking process here. From a business perspective, how do you think about change, and what changes have you made in your company to advance the solution you're offering in the market today? We covered it a little bit, but maybe more insights on this?
Yeah, I mean, we changed from the contact tracing to the actually payment part, which was a real big change, because the first solution was in the end government focused. So we have to adhere to government regulations for all the COVID stuff and so on. And the other solutions actually consumer and restaurant focused. So they are not implementing like features for the health department, which likes to know the ventilation of the room and other stuff. But you're implementing like a real UX user journey that they actually have to like the solution, and they are not forced to use it because of regulations. And therefore, this was also a big business change and a mindset change in our company. And also financial-wise. So before we were like financed via government contracts, so the solution was free for restaurants. And now we're changing this business model that the restaurants now have to pay payment fees when they charge payments with Luca. So it's also totally a different business model now.
Thank you.
For us, I mean, the change is happening while we speak in a way for us, because so far we've been kind of a business that the use case we always like to call it is the expansion as a service use case, so really helping businesses along their expansion journey. And we are, what I was saying before, now moving towards our vision, becoming the consolidator of all things payroll. And this is really kind of, from a customer perspective, customers that are, as I mentioned, already multinational, which is going to be very exciting. So far, if we look at our clients, we just manage 10 to 15% of their workforce, which are their remote workers. And now with the vision of bringing all their payroll data for all the other employees together, of consolidating this, is really going to 100%. And I mean, from a go-to-market perspective, it doesn't change drastically. It's just really expanding the wallet share per client, yeah, and increasing the retention and helping clients really bring all their payroll data together. And I think here, from a potential, I mean, I was just speaking with Aurel briefly before we jumped on this panel here, with our partners, payroll providers, yeah. So they have thousands of clients. I mean, payroll costs are one of the biggest cost centers in every business, yeah. So in terms of volume that we are talking about, this has a 10x potential for us moving forward. So quite exciting to see what's happening.
I will follow up after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
Ritesh.
for us, there were a couple of key changes for Viber. Almost all products before Fintech were global by nature. So for example, last year we launched lenses. We test in few markets usually, and then we open up globally. Fintech doesn't work that way. Every country has its regulation, different pay in, pay out methods. So users are using different ways to pay. So that was a big change. It's not like global by default. So it's country by country. So we had to pick which countries to go, how to define like what's the right market for us. And that was a big change. The second part was it involving legal and compliance right in the product design stage, like how every step of the user journey, is it correctly aligned with the local regulations. And even in the two countries we are alive, even both of them are EU, Germany and Greece have slight differences in what they think is okay to do from a payment app perspective. So those are quite, I would say from business structure perspective, quite new things for us.
Great. So you spoke about user journey and about the customer experience, the local experience. How was your business focused on incorporating lessons learned based on change that helped create great customer experience? So you spoke about to think about the customer experience. How do we do that for the global customers?
I can start. I mean, for us, it was very important to be a pure product company. Yeah, if you want to bring good experience to your clients from a product perspective, you're a product company, or you need to be a product company. If you looked at the most successful companies out in the world, Workday, Salesforce, they're pure product companies. They don't do service, they don't do fulfillment. Yeah. On the other hand side, speaking now in the payroll space, at least, if you look at an ADP, they're a pure service company. Yes, they do have a tech layer on top, but in the end, they're a service company. And for us, I think what is the most important thing here is really working with a global network of partners, the best in-country providers, or the best partners for whatever value add that they can bring to our platform. And we just, as a platform or as a good product, trying to centralize, standardize, and automate as much as possible for the end clients. Yeah? So leveraging a global network of partners that is integrated into our platform.
Understood.
Yeah. Actually, user focus means for me like that everybody is connected with the customer in the end. From not only the UX researcher we have in our company, but also like the product owner and even the developers, that they can actually grasp the experience the user has on the road in the end. So go into the restaurant, talk with people, understand the experience, understand what means like a one-click payment and not click here, click there. You have two screens, switch it. So to really feel this not only as a UX researcher, but also as a developer and everybody else in the company, to actually understand the product and understand the problem, and then try to iterate actually fast in combination with the customer. So say, okay, nice idea of the customer, let's iterate this, make a small version of it, show it to him, get feedback, and so developing the product further and further and further.
Good.
Yeah, and from our perspective, we try to understand what do people not like to have in their existing solutions that they use, and some things that would come up more frequently is like people want instant, people want low friction, low cost. So we wanted to find like global partner who can allow us to bring the best use case or the best user journey to our customers. And we looked at, like, I think what Arik mentioned, building versus partnering. And most of the things that we tried to look at, we said like partnering is faster. And partnering is going to allow us to focus more on the user rather than building all the infrastructure, which could take a lot of time. And then the other side of learning was we launched all the other bot payments use cases that I mentioned. So we learned a ton from it. In each market, there's a different way to pay utility bills. There's a different way to do something like that. Is just you have to do it, you want to do it, and people don't want to spend too much time, but there's still friction in the world. So how do we remove that friction, and how do we bring something easy, reminder, notification, just tell them like this is what you can do right here. So that's what we tried to capture, and that helped us define our product roadmap and strategy, and also how should we go about. We could have gone, I mean, there are two flywheels. One is just the B2C. We started with the peer-to-peer use case. We could have gone with the merchant flywheel. We realized that the B2C flywheel is an easier one to start than the C2B or the customer to business payment. It's a harder flywheel to start. So users are already on the app messaging, which is very quick, instant, and so we try to learn from a lot of different market research and experiments to define our just like roadmap and strategy.
Thank you for the insights. So let's go to the future a little bit. Let's peer into a crystal ball. What's next? And how will Rapyd help your business to go to the next level?
The future of work.
Future is here.
At least, let me speak for the future of work. It is by default global. Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned it before. Companies or any product, software companies, from day one can sell their products anywhere in the world. Yeah, and this dramatic shift in terms of how companies now start thinking about selling products, building teams, needs solutions, yeah, or needs good partners, yeah. And I think here for us, what is really exciting with the partnership with Rapyd is from I think looking into the crystal ball, like you said it, we at least my understanding is that we're very much aligned, because in a way we are helping companies putting their global teams on autopilot, yeah, empowered with the global payment capabilities. It's just one of the crucial parts of enabling this.
I love the autopilot mention. It's inspiring. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think for us the ambition is to go globally with expanding the current product, but also adding more use cases. So I remember the slide that was earlier presented. It had 4 boxes: collect, disburse, wallet, and issuing. We're using all 4. We want to use in all the countries where Viber has dominant position. And from what I saw, the product strategy session as well, Rapyd is also going towards enabling more countries, more use cases. So I would say in that way, I do think there's an alignment.
Yeah, and in the end, it's our goal to actually be more integrated with our merchants. So to not only have like the simple customer payment in our platform, but also move like merchant to merchant payments, like maybe also the salary payroll services into the platform. And thereby I also saw from Eric's keynote like this replacing of the bank account for a normal restaurant. And even restaurants always have like the challenge of getting a bank account, managing their financials, actually getting grasp of it, or knowing what is on their balance on the different accounts, what checks they have to make, what invoices they have to take. So that's always a big challenge for restaurants. And there we like to go, actually, not only to like transform the current payments restaurants have into the digital area, but also to increase actually the revenue of the restaurants by supporting them with the additional services, and also to enable them to get the 360 view of their own business in the platform, supported by the different kind of services we also get from Rapyd in the end.
Mm-hmm. So from what I'm hearing, it's increasing the capabilities and use cases, and also the global approach. So everything together. It's a common ground here. Okay, so the next topic is providing feedback. So part of building something new requires listening and gathering feedback. And at Rapyd, we work hard to learn from our customers' local market needs. It's a two-way exchange that helps us improve our product and network and deliver better experience. How do you give feedback to Rapyd or any other vendor or partner that you work with to improve their technology and capabilities so your company can succeed? So it's not only about us.
Yeah, so we actually have a quite direct feedback channel to Edgar in our WhatsApp group.
Yeah, we can ask Edgar questions.
Yeah, where we actually...
Edgar? Hey.
So, which is actually a day and night available for any ideas and problems we have. So this was actually a quite good experience, not only to come with problems, but also with ideas and work on them, like introducing new payment methods. For example, also the incorporation of Trustly in the platform will be one major part for us, as most people in Germany, we just saw, still pay by bank transfer and not even have a credit card. So that's also pretty interesting involvement, where actually the roadmap of Rapyd merged to the roadmap of Luca somehow. Like, I hope it was a bit like our influence at least. Yeah, so this was a great experience to actually get to know, okay, that are their processes, how we learn from each other, how we can actually improve, like also the KYB processes, especially for German companies, are also a little bit different, to have some adaptations there and here. So this worked quite good and quite iterative, and also like at the spot, because we always have a contact line.
I agree, and from me speaking with Edgar's team, preparing for this panel, this is exactly what I heard from the team. Maybe you would like to say a few words and elaborate on how you learned? We have a mic coming to you. I like to surprise, you know.
Thank you, Rona. I appreciate it. And thank you for the kind words as well. So Luca has been a very valuable design partner for us. Your feedback, like a lot of other customer feedback, helps us build a better platform and meet your needs and your customers' needs. And exceeds them. So it's a very valuable feedback loop, and we are big believers in feedback loops, getting that feedback, building a better product, and so on. So thank you so much for that, and I'll try to stay available day and night, as you said.
And this was also like part of the experience where we initially built the solution, like the first 4 months, we actually sit in a war room and said, okay, what we still have to know, what we have to learn about payment, how we integrate this, so this worked really, really good.
Cool.
Yeah, something similar. I work with Asaf, and my team work with Asaf and Daniel and Leonid.
Asaf, get ready. Where is he? He's here.
We have like at least, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 meetings a week. I think probably Asaf sees me too much. So we're constantly working together to share like what we think we wanna achieve, and then the team Rapyd says like what is maybe feasible in the payments world, right? But we worked very closely for last 1 year. We both have learned a lot. I'm always pushing for more countries that are not even on this map, more methods, pay in, pay out. I'm always asking for something more. So I think I'm like a demanding client for Rapyd. But we worked with the team for over a year, learned a lot. At least from my side, I know we've learned a lot how to build, how to execute, how to scale. And we are not a payments company, so everything was like from scratch. We were like a messaging, communication, content company, completely different world. So it was a steep learning curve, but yeah, it's been good partnering.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, Aurel.
Yeah, I think our head of Fintech, she's currently on maternity leave, could say much more. But I mean, for us, I think what has been, I said a few things already up front, but I think the longer we've worked together with Rapyd, I mean, getting to know each other, similar like you said it, we had no idea, like real idea. We were not a payments company per se. But really kind of building this kind of partnership step by step, and having this constant alignment, yeah, on a let's say more operational, recurring weekly basis, but also then more on a strategic, mid to long-term roadmap, saying, okay, this is kind of the direction where we're heading towards. How do we kind of can work on a joint effort to getting the Rapyd capabilities into our roadmap. So I think it has been constantly improving, and we're very happy. Otherwise, probably I wouldn't be here. But yeah, so I think a lot still to come.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe Susel in the audience, maybe you can speak a little bit about what your team learned from this process with Lano.
Thanks for the surprise, Rona.
I love it.
I think the key is, as Aurel said, is partnership, and the relationship that Rapyd ends up having with our clients is a partnership relationship. It's not a vendor and a client relationship. You sell a product and you go on to the next customer. These are ongoing relationships, especially as I think all of the panelists said, we're starting with a small focused MVP and we expand the business as our customer grows and our capabilities grow. So this is kind of a long-term partnership where we build the capabilities together with the partners. Not always we have all the capabilities to support their needs in the long term. So this is where the long-term vision and discussions come into place so that we can align our roadmap with the customer needs. And I think this is also kind of the goal of this session, to put together customers, partners, the Rapyd team, to have a better alignment looking into the future. So key is partnership, I would say.
Thank you. Partnership and improving through that. So, it's been a great conversation. I learned a lot. And before we're wrapping up, I would like to ask the last question. What is the most important piece of advice you can give our audience about how to succeed? It's a big question, but let's try.
It's pretty hard. It's actually like the best advice from my point of view is to always go with the MVP and use experiments to actually understand the customer, to understand how the use case works, to understand the regulations. So always do like the minimal step first and not overthink stuff. Just try to make very, very, very small increases, small products, understand them, and then build on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to take it to my world, to the marketing world. Start with one country, the campaign, see how it succeeds, or one vertical, and learn from it and build on it.
Yeah. Even start with one street in Berlin and then take the next one.
And then take the world.
I think from my side, if we look at last few years, I don't think in October 2019 anyone would have predicted what would come in next few years. So adaptability and agility is quite important. It ties into learning from your customers and if needed, pivot, change. But adaptability, agility is quite important in today's world. We can't really predict what's coming. Also, we don't know what users want. So learn from users and be quick to learn from the signals or data and then act on it as quickly as you can. That's probably one of the biggest learning.
Check out our website and go to the values section. I think it says a lot about what we see is crucial to build a successful company. But I mean, maybe adding just 2 words or 2 sentences here. I think, first of all, build the best team in the world, and act as if success is guaranteed.
I agree. I love building good teams. Yeah. Okay, I think it's time to wrap up. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you.
I appreciate your putting time and effort to this panel. And see you later. We have lunch coming up now, so everybody enjoy lunch, and we'll come back in an hour. So enjoy lunch. It's upstairs.
Thank you.